Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. Today's topic is what judgments are being said about you and why, or what is their purpose. This was a channeled message that I got first thing this morning. I was like, okay, here we go. We're going into it. So yeah, we'll see what's coming out. First and foremost, if you're a returning subscriber and viewer, thank you so very much for coming back and allowing me this precious space and time with you. I am truly honored to have you here as this journey unfolds. And it's just been a really super exciting time. I'm just so happy. And for those of you that are new here, this is a reminder that this is a safe space. We're all here having this human experience. And for you to come as your highest, most aligned self, this is a safe space in order for you to do so. So with that being said, keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Knowing that as you interact with my channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing below, it does allow me an opportunity to directly connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. And also, if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you will find all those links below in the description box in order to do so. You may also email me for a personal reading and I'll get you out further information from there. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is a fun, chill hangout session with yours truly. I just did a recording today for episode 46, I believe, and it is uploaded and ready to go for Wednesday, the 22nd, 11/22, y'all. So I hope to see you all there. Yeah. Also, memberships, they are in the progress of being uploaded. As we speak, I'm just waiting on a few more designs to get finished. And yeah, we'll have that up and running soon for you. I'm super excited. We're getting down to the wire. I know this whole month has gone by. It's just taken me a little bit longer than I expected. I didn't actually realize the work that was going to go into it when I first started it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So it's been a process, but it's been a rewarding one nonetheless. So I'm super excited. I pray that you are too. Yeah, so let's get into it. I actually have a brand new deck that I got recently that I'm going to be bringing out. This is called Bird Messages. So birds have always been a huge source of messages in my life, and when I saw this, I knew I had to get it, and Source told me that I was supposed to bring this deck today on this reading. I do have a couple of other decks, but I actually don't know if I'm going to be offering those to you on the free channel, but they may be something that I offer on the membership. So that's something that is one of those perks that's going to come out for memberships, is that you're going to get to see decks on certain readings that some other people might not. So just keeping that in mind. Awesome. Yeah, felt like I needed to mention that. So let's get into it, and let's get your prayer underway, and then let's get into it. Ready to roll. Today's not going to be super long reading or anything like that. We're just going to get right to the point and straight to it. I've got quite a bit of work to do, so yeah. Awesome. My beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading. I ask that you open our hearts to understanding that we may be judged harshly by many on this journey because we're doing something that not many do. Especially those of us that take the journey extremely seriously and it becomes a part of our lives, our everyday lives. That we'll always have you to rely on, that we'll always have you to turn to, and that we'll always have you to help guide us back to this place of unconditional love. And sometimes love just means walking away. But helping us to know that and to understand that, and knowing that there is no defense that we need to interact in. That we've been given an opportunity to believe in ourselves, and that in itself is so powerful. That we can fly high. That we can choose to soar above the others. That eventually those that are malicious and their intentions are to make us stop, or they have loud opinions that they don't recognize are hurting us, one day will fall off of our backs because we'll fly higher than they could ever expect on your wings, in your love, And it's not about being better than them. It's not about being more aligned than them. It's not about anything other than being of service to you and knowing that there are those out there who are receptive to who we are, no matter what. They're cheering us on. They're loving us. They want the best for us. They want to see us succeed. So there will always be the haters, but equally so, that means that there will always be those that love and cherish us deeply along this journey. May this always be a reminder as we move forward and we continue to do your work. We continue to serve your purpose. We continue to help embolden and empower those that need it most, those that feel like they're ready to give up the journey. May we always be a reminder that good times are coming and they're coming soon. As these words are spoken unto this space and unto this reading and unto my community, my collective here, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Ooh, I felt that. That was a strong one. I felt it. I know we got a little bit of ash on the thing here. Let me see if I can blow it off. Not blow out the candle. If I wipe it. And of course, I blew out the candle. See, that's the only thing with wiping it on here. Oh well. Smudge, smudge, smudge. Beautiful prayer is getting put into the thing here. Let me relight this candle with my torch that's going through here. Alright, so I've already shuffled these for us. We've got them cleansed, but let's get into it. Source, what bird message will help us understand better what judgments are being said about pile number 1 and their purpose? Thank you. Ooh, alright, so source for pile number 2. What bird message card will help us better understand what judgments are being said about pile 2 and what is their purpose? Whoa, fast. Fast! Alright. See, that's how you know you picked the right deck, right? Source for pile number 3. What bird message card will help us better understand what judgments are being said about pile number 3 and what are their purpose for pile number 3? One card, please. Thank you. Alright, on the bottom of the deck, ooh, is that the Taj Mahal in the back? We have the purple swamp fin. It says abandon unsympathetic environments for your true element. Yes! I love this synchronicity already. I already love it. I already love it. I love it a lot. It's so amazing. Alright, are you ready? Let's go. Feeling a little goofy today. That's cool. I was kind of down and out the last few days just to some personal issues going on in my life. And now today I woke up with the Ho'oponopono prayer and I feel incredible. So if you don't know what that is, check it out. It's a forgiveness prayer. It's amazing. Awesome. So make sure this is in frame. Okay, for pile number 1, we have this piece of blue agate. Looks like a little blue bean. Okay. For pile number 2, we have this beautiful piece of green aventurine. Okay. And pile number 3, we have this gorgeous piece of red jasper. Look, there's me. Hey guys, what's up? Oh, that's funny. A mirror to the other world. Alright, so pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever one you choose should be the pile for you. With that being said, I will see you over on your perspective pile, y'all. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful little blue bean agate, it's not actually a bean, it just looks like a bean. Or if you were drawn to this oracle card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on what judgments are being said about you and why. Why being what is their purpose. So we'll get a little bit deeper into that. First things first, these are general readings, so please take what resonates and leave what does not. knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing below, it does allow me an opportunity to directly connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box below where you will find all the links necessary to do so. You can email me for your personal reading, and I will get you out further information from there. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is just a chill hangout with me, and I really do hope to see you there. Also, memberships are in the works. I'm just waiting on the last little few bits of designs to come through, and once that does come through, we're going to be up and running, and I'm so excited. So thank you so much for your patience, and I hope that you are all excited about that as well. Before we get into this reading, we are going to get some information back that might be triggering. Okay, remember, we are looking at judgments that are being said about you. This is not a pretty fun, entertaining reading that's like, oh, this is really light and fun. Okay, so I'm just warning you ahead of time that whatever it is that comes out is in no way, shape, or form the truth of your character, as we are connecting with other people's insights, views, and perspectives of you through their rose-colored glasses. Okay? Just a trigger warning. Let's get that out of the beginning here, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, Source, what judgments are being said about pile number 1 and why? Actually, let's use the dice today. Let me rephrase my question here. I want to know if you can tell us about pile number 1 so that they know that this is the pile for them. Let's get that going. So, can you tell us, Source, about pile number 1 so that they know that this is the pile for them? Can you give us a description of pile number 1 so that they know that this is the pile for them? Okay, so we've got Capricorn, Neptune, and 8th house. Ooh, you're a mysterious little one, aren't you? Ooh, mysterious little pretty. Okay, sorry, I am in a weird mood. I'm actually not going to apologize for that. I'm having a great time today. I couldn't tell you why. It's just one of those days where I feel really, really goofy, and yeah, I'm just going to own it, because it's fun like that. So let's get these set up here. Yeah, you're someone who can be very spiritual, or you just kind of dabble in the things that a lot of people wouldn't normally dabble in. Like you, let me move this over actually. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Right, when we're dealing with this, the 8th house, you are someone who's seen as very sexually attractive, very mysterious, very otherworldly is the word that's coming through right now. Someone that is just so different. Like, you stick out like a sore thumb, whether you want to or not. Like, you could be like, well, I'm pretty plain, or I don't have anything that's like super like overly different about me, but it's not that. It's this is your energy. Right, we're dealing with the 8th house, talks about our subconscious, that deep hidden emotion. So you have a tendency to bring out some deep emotions in other people. You could be someone who triggers others through to a healing energy. Especially with Neptune here, you might actually induce healing with others, right? And it's nothing that you do like consciously, or you're not really trying to. It just happens when people meet you. You are someone who's gone through a lot in your life. You've gone through a lot of transformations. You've let go of a lot of emotional ego. You have maybe your own home. That makes you different, right? Like you actually own your home. You pay a mortgage, and that makes you different. Or you're on the process of trying to get into that path, okay? So that's a very specific message. That's only meant for maybe a handful of you. You're here to leave legacies, and you're working on that. Like you were in the process of working on this, especially with Capricorn energy here. It's like you're very determined. You've got grit, right? And you're on your journey to get there. But property is something that keeps coming up. So maybe that's your legacies. You're going to be leaving property for your family. You're going to be offering them this opportunity. But you're someone who, when you talk to somebody, you go deep real quick. Like you're not about the weather, and you're not about the news. You're about, how can we change life's discrepancies? Or how can we really talk about spirit? Or how can we really talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about? Like maybe mythology, or maybe like anthropology is coming through. Like, that was so loud. It was like, anthropology. Okay, cool. Well, that's a really specific message. So, but it's like you want to talk about the deeper things in life that people don't even want to talk on. And so you're ready to jump into it and get uncomfortable. It's like being comfortable in a very uncomfortable situation. You're cool with that. You kind of thrive in that energy. You're someone who's very determined and hardworking, disciplined, and persistent about your journey. You are overcoming strides and struggles, things that have been very karmic by nature here, things that have been very hard and difficult for you to overcome. This could also be healing the father wound, right? You could be in the process of deeply healing the toxic masculine that's been within your soul, or the pattern that's been passed on down through you. And really being able to work in a way that is productive, but not overly so where you're hitting burnout. Okay, sometimes you can be rigid though. Sometimes you can be fearful that you're not going to get where you're going to, and I feel like that's part of you healing yourself, is recognizing and realizing that you don't always have to be on 1,000 at every point of the day, right? So you are someone who is very ambitious and intelligent. You're very masterful at what it is that you're doing, and persistence brings your patience through, and you're trying to overcome barriers. And I feel like right now, many of you are in the process of trying to let go of control. Releasing control on your journey is something that's so very important for you. And you really are trying to do that. It's not as easy as it may seem though, right? You have some very vivid dreams. Sometimes you're very intuitive. It's not that you're not always intuitive. It's like sometimes you do get stuck in that toxic masculine energy, which will draw you away from your intuition. And so I feel like balancing that out here is allowing you to really begin to trust your intuition on a new level. Sometimes you try to be very vulnerable, but I feel like that's a very scary thing for you. However, you're very psychically receptive to the energies that are outside of you. So you may be a very acute empath. You may have the ability to understand what people are experiencing without ever meeting them or knowing them. You do get inspired through this, though. It does feel like your position in life is all about you helping others in some shape or form, like being of service to them. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way, and we'll get some tarot on it. And remember, the tarot, we're going to really get down and dirty, okay? So we're about to get into those energies of what people are saying, what judgments are coming through about you, keeping in mind that this is in no way, shape, or form the truth of who you are, okay? So let's get into it. Source, what more? Okay, so what can you tell us about what judgments are being said about pile number one? What judgments are being said about pile number one? What judgments are being said about pile number one, source? What can you tell us? What judgments are being said about pile number one? That you oftentimes get stuck in situations, relationships that are like potentially toxic. That's something that's coming through right away. Source, what judgments are being said about pile number one? Wow, thank you. Please don't throw the cards off the table. What judgments are being said about pile number one, source? What judgments are being said about pile number one? Thank you. What judgments are being said about pile number one, source? Whoa, thank you. All right, mystery all the way, huh? I didn't even get none of them flipped over. Yeah, we have the Ace of Cups on the bottom. Okay, so there's this energy coming through that you're a selfish kind of person. Like, now that you're on this journey, that now you're someone who's not willing to be as loving as you once were. And I feel like the thing is that they're not recognizing or realizing that you had to draw away your love. Right? And they're saying that you're being immature. So there's this judgment coming through that, like, oh, now that pile number one is on this journey, like, they feel like they're so high and mighty. Like, they feel like they're better than everyone. They're being totally immature about it. They're not giving me their time. They're not giving me their energy. And there's this feeling of selfishness, like, oh, I'm the one that's giving all this love to pile one, but they're not giving me anything. And this really feels like this is coming from someone that was in a past energy that's reflecting that toxic masculine. So they're in there trying to trigger you, but in reality, because you're drawing your energy away, you're triggering them, and it's making them feel helpless and hopeless about the situation. Because you have options. You can take whatever path you want, and you're going to get admiration, you're going to get love. But right now, what judgments are being made against you or said about you is that you are in this place of really treating everyone from this very immature, lack of knowledge place. And I feel like you're coming into a place of understanding what true love is and what real love for self means. And oftentimes that means that we're not playing into other people's agenda. A lot of people have an agenda. They want to be the center of attention. They want to be heard. They want to be recognized. They want to be seen. And if you were ever a people pleaser in your life, if that's something that resonates with you, then you were the one that was fulfilling that emotional ego within them. And when you draw that away, it really, really cuts deep, because now they're no longer being fulfilled in that way. So let's see what we got. Look, we've got the Two of Cups here, the King of Swords in the reverse, and the Nine of Wands in the upright. Yeah, so they're saying that they loved you. That's the thing. They're saying that you took their love for granted. Yeah, it's exactly what I was feeling over here. And that now you like use your, whatever it is that you're gaining from this journey, you're like using that to pit people against each other. Or that you're using that to pit other people against them because they love you so deeply. They were always there for you. They were always giving to you. They were always being kind and generous to you. And yet, now that you're no longer that part in their life, like now that you're no longer giving that to them, like they don't understand that. And so it's like, instead of being seen as the potentially toxic partner here, they want you to be seen as someone who's just a smooth talker. Like you just get people to follow you because you're so good with your words. They say that you get people to follow you because you talk about how many new beginnings that you've had to go through, and that's what makes you relatable, even though it's like they're trying to convince somebody or another person. It feels like there's one other person involved here. It feels like they're trying to convince them that you're lying about how many times you've had to start over. Oh, that's not true. They've never had to do that. Oh, that's not true. You don't understand where it is that they're going. Oh, that's not true. They just want it to seem worse than it really is. And I feel like you've gained so much experience from having to deal with one-sided relationships and broken hearts that, you know, it's like that. And every time our heart breaks, that's a new beginning. It's an ending leading us towards a new beginning. Whether somebody wants to understand that or see it that way, it doesn't matter. That literally is a new beginning. And that's us finding balance in our own journey and to heal from that. So there's somebody who's very angry here. And their anger is fueling what it is that they're saying about you. But it also comes from, because I feel like they too, when they broke your heart, they didn't know that they were going to break their own heart in this situation. So this could be a friend. It could be an ex-lover. This could be even a family member. Remember, it doesn't always have to be romantic love, even though we do have the Two of Cups. Because we don't have my Six of Cups out here, this could be love just in general. Someone who's trying to say, oh, well, if you really love somebody, you're not going to treat them like this, or you're not just going to say goodbye, or you're not going to do the things that pile number one does. But it does feel like self-preservation. That's the energy that I'm getting here. Like, again, this could be a father, because we do have the King of Swords here, or this could be a masculine sign that's in your life that holds that masculine energy, right? So it could be a fire sign or an air sign. We have Gemini and Sagittarius energies here. These are two opposing energies, right? So what we're talking about on the zodiac wheel is that Gemini and Sagittarius are the exact opposite of each other on the zodiac wheel. And so there's oftentimes this opposites attract energy between them. And so that's what it feels like here. This is someone who's the exact opposite of you. There's this judgment that's coming through where it's like they don't understand the journey that you're taking, and you live the journey that they live. and that just wasn't resonating with you. And because you chose to do something completely different than what they were doing, they just cannot wrap their head around it. They just don't see the purpose of maybe being positive, or maybe being spiritually inclined, or maybe being like, again, we have this 8th house energy here, which talks about dealing with occult energy. So you could be someone who's very much like, you could practice yoga, you could practice tai chi, you could practice qigong, you could practice spiritual teachings. Maybe you follow Nietzsche, or maybe you follow Buddha, or maybe you follow the Dalai Lama, or something like that. Like, it's something outside of what you grew up in. Or even so, maybe you grew up with those beliefs and now you're following maybe Christianity or the Bible or something along those lines. Like, it's complete different than what they grew up knowing or what they expected you to be like. And so they feel like, because of these teachings, like, that you're being immature about it. And that's honestly not at all. Like, what the purpose is of this, and that's what I was getting from the very beginning, is healing the father wound. This is healing the toxic masculine, that energy that you grew up in. And you might be like, well, I would really have a toxic masculine in my life. No, but this feels like carrying a generational curse. This is something that you're carrying to heal for your family. And it's kind of shaped the way of how you show up in all of your relationships. You could have been the one that always took responsibility to help everybody. Like, no matter what, you were the person that dropped everything to show up for everybody else. But the thing is when you needed help, none of those friends would stop what they were doing to come and help you. Like, they're showing me an image of you showing up and saying, oh, someone's like, hey, I need help moving. I'll buy the beers and the pizza. Will you help me move? And you're like, yeah, sure. And you're there for a whole week helping someone move. And then at the end of the day, like, a year or two goes by and you're like, hey, I need to move. I'll buy the pizza and the beers. Can you come and help me move? And they might say, yeah, sure. But then they just totally bail on you and leave you destitute, because that's not something that, like, that's the type of toxic masculine that we have here. It's like someone who's adverse to helping out when needed, right? When needed on the journey. And so that's what it feels like here. It feels like there's just some kind of energy that you're deeply healing. And it has to do with the way that you're able to receive love, which is a feminine trait, but it comes from our imbalance in the toxic masculine, and the father wound is what this feels like. And so the judgment here is that now that you're on this journey, you've become totally irrational and, like, unyielding is the word that's coming through here. But with purpose, right? You can't continue to let people treat you a certain way. Or when we talk about the definition of insanity, right? Like, it's like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, it's not that you're insane. It's just that you came to the conclusion that if I continue to live this way, these individuals have shown that they're never going to change. Like, after the 10th time, after the 20th time, after the 50th time, if they didn't change, why continue to hurt yourself by going back to that situation? And so you had to put up some kind of boundary there and say, look, enough is enough. I get that we're maybe related, or I get that we're friends, or I get that we had this life together, but I can't continue to feed into your emotional ego and trying to lift you up and make you feel better about yourself when all you do when I'm with you or when I'm not is beat me down, or when you expect me to follow the journey that you've put in play for me. Because that's the definition of being controlled, and we're on this journey to find a freer version of ourselves, to live our lives the best way that we can. And sometimes that means that you have to let go of the old version of you, and that's exactly what you've done here. But this person or these people, they cannot seem to understand that. They just can't, because you're different. That's why I was like, actually, if you catch my podcast, the one that I post for 11/22, I talk about this in there. It's like those that we're often closest to are the ones that they have no respect for what we do on our journey. We'll never be able to convince them of who we are. We'll never be able to convince them of the greatness that resides within us, even though that greatness resides in everybody we meet and see, right? But when we choose to take that journey, which is a very scary journey to begin with, we never get support from the people who we thought would be there for the rest of our lives, because they don't see the value in us. They see the old version of us that they grew up, whether that was manipulating us or being able to get from us whatever it was, you know, using us for their own agenda, whatever the purpose was. That's what oftentimes happens. And when we let that go, that then goes against that idea that they have, oh, I can always run to pile one, and pile one will always be that person for me. And now you're not. And now it's going against what they said. Look, we have house 7, profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. So these are our relationships, right? Friends, family, lovers, okay, business partners, co-workers, whoever it is that you have in your life. This doesn't have to be love relationships. It can point towards love relationships, but this is just saying these are people in general. So we do have this confirmation here. We have Aries, independence, bravery, and passion. This is exactly the energy that you exhibited. You were brave enough to walk away from something that just wasn't serving you. You said, nope, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And now you're passionate about something, and you're putting your love towards something that really gives back to you, whether that's monetary wise. I don't feel like it's giving back to you quite like that yet, or it's starting to, or you are in the process of actually seeing the fruits of your labor. I feel like the thing here is that with your passion, you're giving so much of yourself into this, and you're seeing how it's fulfilling your heart. And see, we have square. If this has been a challenging situation, a mountain to climb, this hasn't been easy for you. So the purpose of this was truly to heal the wounded masculine. It's interesting that Source brought that up in your dice reading rather than in the cards, because it came out so clear. It's like I kept feeling the wounded father here, and it's like they've been very clear, very, very clear about that. So let's get some more oracles out on it here. Yeah, you're finding harmony now in the journey. Harmony within yourself. This is you looking for inner peace is my goal. Like inner harmony is my goal. And you found that. Maybe you're a musician, or maybe you're doing something that's very unorthodox, right? Like something it could have to do with the spiritual community. Maybe you're a chakra healer, or you're a Reiki healer, or I don't know, there's so many different places that you could go in the spiritual community. You could be a tarot reader, an oracle reader. You could be a divination person. Like you could do candle wax readings. You could do coffee grounds readings. You could do tea leaf readings, whatever it is, right? And these are just examples. Maybe you're out to help individuals find balance in their journey by becoming a life coach, or you could be becoming a fitness coach or something along those lines. It's just not something that everybody thinks about doing, and you did. It was inspiration that came to you, and it's bringing you harmony and fulfillment, and it's effortless. It's effortless for you. And so they're making these judgments because it's like, well, why does pile one get it so easy? But they're not seeing the hurt and the pain that was caused by how they treated you or how they showed up. They're not seeing that. They're not seeing that as a difficulty, because it's like, oh, well, this feels like a tit for tat. Like if they really want to go down in history like that, like let me tell them what I go through too. And it's like, it's not about that. That's not what this is about. It's literally about you coming into a place of just beginning to understand yourself. And I feel like there's a deep forgiveness that needs to be had here. And if you didn't catch the intro, I was talking about the Ho'oponopono prayer. And the Ho'oponopono prayer is an ancient Hawaiian practice in forgiveness, right? And so if you need help with that, definitely check that out, right? There's one by Sandra Roulette, I think is her name. It's got like 3.7 million views, and that's the one that I've used that one since before it even had 100,000 views on it. I still go back to it. It says nothing is gained by holding on to past disappointments. And I feel like you're definitely in this journey of finding forgiveness, but I do feel like there's still those parts. Like if you know who this is, you're kind of like, really? That's the judgment you have on me? Like, get out of Dodge with that, you know? And at the same time, it's like, you're like, but I still can't stop what I'm doing just to appease this person. But it does feel close to home. Like it feels very, look, connection with Tarantula here. Yeah, they're being very clear. This is someone that you've known. This is not someone who just sees you and makes a quick snap judgment about you, which we may get in the other piles. I just feel like this is someone that you've known. This is someone that you're very familiar with, and it's like they've shown you their true colors, but it's like they still want more from you. They still want who you used to be, but that person that you once were is long gone. Like we have sweet results await. Exactly. Like you're bringing in a lot of luck. This has all been destined journey for you. This is something that you had to go through. But it's taken time. It's taken a lot of time for you to get here, right? It wasn't easy. You had to take the lead in your life with Stag Spirit here. Yeah. You had to find strength. You had to find stability. You had to find a foundation that allowed you to become capable of seeing yourself, capable of knowing that you had a right to leave this behind. Let's see what the shadow aspect is that's coming through here. I just saw 25 on the clock, so we have 777 with that. Look, we have guilty here. There's lying or cheating going on, maybe both. It may take a confrontation to come clean. So this person has definitely lied to you. They've definitely cheated on you. Like, I mean, and cheating doesn't necessarily mean going and laying with another person, right? You can cheat people without laying with another person. This is like they're trying to cheat you out of your success by convincing other people that you're somehow the guilty party in all of this. And I feel like that's something the truth is they're empty. They don't feel fulfilled, and it's worth the wait to find true happiness. And that's the thing. And they're seeing you find happiness, and they're too proud to say, hey, pile one, could you like give me some pointers? They don't believe that you're the one that could figure it out. People sometimes, like, let's get a couple of these out on it. Can you please tell us more about this, Source? Sweet dream. Yeah, you're definitely fulfilling your dreams. Ooh, we've got nightmare and sweet dream together. Your sweet dream is this person's nightmare. Ooh, okay. They feel like a failure. Oh my goodness, this person. Look, I just got a post on my phone. It just came through. It says, when you raise your vibration, some beings become terrified and petrified because of it. We have alliance here, trust, honesty, and compatibility. So I do feel like you are bringing in a lot of alliances here, or your alliance is with an animal or a pet or even your spirit guides, right? This could be your spirit guides coming in, and like that's the true love. Like that's where you put all your energy and time is into these beings that give back to you that way. So we did have sweet dream, which flew out first. Satisfaction, comfortable, and lazy day. Like you get to enjoy your life through what it is that you're doing. You get to live a life that this person can't, I would say, could dream of, but I don't feel like they're capable of doing that. Like they just don't believe that you're actually doing it. They just don't. And so the judgment is if I can convince everybody that this person is somehow weighing me down, then I'm somehow going to feel better about it. And they're like projecting their guilt of them not making any motion forward in their life onto everyone else about being you. We have nightmare, suffering, darkness, and persecution. Like this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you feel bad about living in harmony with your dream, with yourself. So we do have homeless, failure, castaway, and poor. This person could be afraid of being homeless, or maybe this person came out and tried to help you when maybe you were in a homeless situation. Or it's just that this person, this is how they feel. It's like they just feel left out. I'm poor. I'm a failure. I'm never going to get to where pile number one is. And so it's just not fair. And like, why do they get everything when I feel like I've experienced worse off than they have? Hesitation, decision, confusion, worry. Yeah, they're just very worried. They're worried that you're going to succeed on your journey and that they're not going to get whatever it is that you have. And now that you all aren't like this, like maybe you were one time very, very close, you're like this. Now that you're not like that anymore, they know that they don't have access to your dreams. So even when you do become successful, even when you do get whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest, they know that they're not going to be a part of that. And that's really, really rubbing them wrong. Yeah, so look, we have relationship patterns here. Wasn't I saying that? Like the toxic masculine is how you've shown up in all your relationships, not being able to receive, always being the one that takes over and tries to help everybody or tries to be there. It says it takes strength to recognize the need for change. And this is exactly what you're doing. You're recognizing your need to change in this situation and in others. And then we have groundedness with armadillo, number 7 again. What was I saying? Like 7 is a very powerful number, and I love that this is the last one that came out for you here, because not only do we have 7 here, so you might want to look up the spiritual meaning of 77, what that means for you, because there's so many different websites that you can find, but find one that resonates with you and read that out. It's going to deepen the meaning of this reading. But also we had 25, and in numerology, that's also 7, which is interesting because 7 plus 7 is 14, and in numerology that would be number 5. 32 is 5, and 5 is a very uncomfortable place of change. So you definitely did what you needed to on your journey, but it was not comfortable by any means. So let's take a look at your bird message here and see what it says. We've got the bearded vulture. Let outward deeds and words match inner feelings. Exactly. This is a thing, like you're letting yourself shine, because what you feel on the inside is what's coming outside, right? So it's like the more harmonious you are inside, the more harmonious everything around you becomes. I feel like that's what's really triggering this person. I feel like that's what's really creating a lot of upset in their life. Now, let me go ahead and try and find this in the book. Unfortunately, or fortunately, who knows, they're not alphabetized in this book. This is what it looks like, though, if you're interested in the deck. It's by Susie Green. These are absolutely beautiful. I love these cards. They're just so amazing. We've got Bearded Vulture. Source, where's Bearded Vulture? There it is. Thank you. Okay, so we're on page 50. Look at that. I cannot make this stuff up. That's amazing. We have, okay, it says, fragrant is the land where magical vulture passes, for she purifies and transforms it by consuming the dead. What was I saying? You come into contact with people and you force them to change. You force triggers upon them. It's help purifying their soul. Vulture, also known as lammergeier, I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but fragments huge bones by dropping them from high rocks so that she may dine on them, and such is her wizardry that they melt with the potent cauldron of her stomach, becoming her vital energy. They are dead, brought again to life in the vulture's own form. We have the 8th house, which is all about death and rebirth, and this is so fitting to this. I love this synchronicity here. Vulture bathes in an iron-rich spring water and dusts herself in Earth's iron-rich soil, transforming her rich, creamy feathers to gorgeous rusty red, and thus her inner transformative nature matches her outward form. If Vulture is glided from the high terminals into your card, she counsels you, too, to be what you seem. In love, this is the moment to wear your heart upon your sleeve. In life, to speak truly of the things that matter to you. And that's what I feel like you're definitely doing here, is speaking what matters to your heart, and at the same time you're healing. This very, very deep healing energy is coming from you, and that's so powerful. So absolutely powerful. So this is what judgments are being said about you, and this is what their purpose is. It's actually just to help you heal, which helps you to heal others along the way. So if you do feel like this is your journey, leave a little music instrument or music note down below and say, I'm changing my relationship patterns for the better. So you let source know that you're calling in this higher vibrational type of energy. Leave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, though, and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second, though, to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful green aventurine, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on what judgments are being said about you and what is their purpose. Keeping in mind that these are general readings, so please take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing below, it does allow me an opportunity to directly connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description page or the description box below, where you will find all the links necessary to do so. You can email me for a personal reading. I'll get you out further information from there. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio, which is a fun, chill hangout session with me. And I do hope to see you there. Also, I do want to point out that this reading today is going to bring up a lot of triggering subjects, right? Because we're wondering what the judgments are. This is more than just gossip. This is like, who's judging me and what are they saying? Is it a group of people? Is it one person? Is it someone I know? Is it someone I don't know? Remember that we are looking at the world through someone else's rose-colored glasses, their idea of who you are, their perspective, and their life. In no way, shape, or form is that the truth of who you are, okay? So I did decide that we are going to use the dice to find out more about your energy so that we can tell whether or not this is the reading for you. If you don't resonate with the dice, then try another pile, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it and find out. Source, can you tell us about pile number 2 so that they know if this is their reading or not? Can you please tell us about pile number 2 so that they will know if this is their reading? Can you tell us about pile number 2 so that they will know if this is their reading, Source? All right, so we've got Jupiter, the 5th house, and Aries energy. Ooh, you're fiery. She's spicy. I heard that song. It's like, I'm not sure how it goes, but it says, I like my ladies hot like jalapenos. Like, whoo, so somebody is spicy. She's a spicy, or he's a spicy. All right, let me get these set up here. So ultimately, you're someone who's not afraid of trying new things, it feels like here. Like you're someone who's very adventurous is the word that I'm looking for. I'm going to move this over a tad. Okay. Yeah, you're very adventurous and unique and joyful, and you have a very bright spirit, and somehow no matter how you try, it feels like drama seems to always find you. Even though you do not try, it just seems to be something that has followed you or does still follow you. But it seems like the higher vibration that you become, the less drama seems to follow you because you just don't get involved in it anymore. Just seemed like that before maybe you did happen to get involved in it because you felt like you needed to, or you were trying to be the peacekeeper in the situation, and now you're just like, nope, I'm out of here. I don't do it no more. I'm just gone. I'm gonna turn on the light. Oop. And yeah, you're someone who's very passionate, very brave, very exciting. Like it feels like when people meet you, they're very excited to meet you because you have a very unique life. Maybe you travel a lot, or you're very spiritual and philosophical, or you just like are a wanderer. You know, not all who wander are lost. You're someone who just sees the world from a very huge perspective, always ever growing, always ever abundant. Like you may bring questions to people that they're like, holy moly, I never once thought about that in my whole life. And you're like, yeah, that's stuff that I think about all the time, right? You're very direct. You're fearless. It feels like you've definitely taken chances on yourself, and you've gone the distance, or you are going the distance. You're in the process of going the distance, right? You let go of your burdens too, it feels like. You like to give back. You have a great humor. You're very generous. You're very much focused on goodwill. Like you really do like helping people, like helping others, wanting others to feel better about themselves, like wanting others to see that there's an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. You could be a CEO or boss, someone who runs a company. You could be an entrepreneur as well. You're definitely a self-starter. At times, though, pile 2, you may be very impatient. Like sometimes things are just not happening the way that you want them to, or as quickly as you'd want them to. And so you do have a tendency to be impatient. That's all right, though, right? You may be very competitive. Some people may think that you're very abrasive or aggressive, and it's really just because you're someone who doesn't want to beat around the bush. Like you're just basically going to say what needs to be said, and so that's it, right? You're also seen as someone who's very ripe with fertility. Like someone or people really want you to be the parent to their child, right? Like they really want to have kids with you, but you're very creative. You're very ever-evolving is the word that's coming through here. And it feels like maybe you have a lot of people who want to romance you, but it does take a special person to cross that threshold with you. So let's go ahead and get some tarot on it. That's what I'm seeing here in the dice. definitely fire energy, though. We do have Leo, Aries, Sagittarius all across the board here. So that might be a sign that's very, very highly aspect in your chart. Maybe your sun, moon, rising, Venus. It could be your 5th house. You could have Jupiter in one of those signs. It could just be running rampant across your chart, right? You could have a fire trine as well. That's what I'm hearing. So those are just some very specifics coming through. But let's get some cards out on it. Source, what judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? Like, what is the purpose for these judgments? What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? Yeah, definitely seen as a leader. For as much fire as you have, you're seen as an emotional leader. Like, you're capable of leading others through very difficult emotional times. Like, you're able to help others see it from a different way. And by taking action, I feel like that's what really leads them through, is helping them take action towards a new start or a new beginning, or finding a sense of peace in the situation in itself, finding their own abundance in it. So, Source, what judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? Okay, thank you. What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? What judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? Thank you, Source. Okay, what judgments are being said about pile number 2 and why? What judgments? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Ooh, okay, so we've got the 3 of coins in the reverse here and the moon. Okay, so you let go of people without telling others. Like, you're just, yeah, you're basically either in it or you're not. Like, you're not going to stick around with somebody who shows you their true colors and that's not aligned with your journey. Like, if someone's coming in being manipulative, or someone's coming in being like crazy, low vibration, like that drama, right? Like, you just basically cut the cord. You're like, I'm out. Bye. Have a good life. I'm not going to stick around with this. And so sometimes it's like people just are like, oh, there goes pile 2. You know, dropping people off, thinking they're better than people. Like, that was something that did come out in pile number 1, is this idea that you think you're better than people. But I feel like what most people are talking about, or the judgments that they're making on you, is that they also too feel like you're going to cut them off. Like, that they're going to say or do something that's going to rub you wrong, and you're going to be like, oh, sorry, I can't be a part of your life. You can't be a part of mine. And I feel like a lot of people make a judgment based on that. Like, oh, they're trying to walk on eggshells when it comes to being around you, but they're not seeing that that's definitely a projection of themselves. Like, you stopped walking on eggshells with them. And so now the only person left to fulfill that role is themselves. And so now they're taking on that energy, not seeing that that's usually how you would have been in the past, as walking on eggshells, trying not to disrupt somebody's energy, trying not to hurt somebody's feelings, or trying not to upset the apple cart, is what I'm hearing. And so they're judging you because you dump people out, but also they judge you based on that because you don't tell them why. Like, you're not like, oh, like, I stopped talking to Sam because, you know, Sam lied to my face, and then he wanted me to believe that that was going to be okay, but that was like the 12th time that Sam lied. Or someone's, you know, say that Susie stonewalled you, and you're like, no, I'm not down with that energy. I've given Susie plenty of chances, and Susie doesn't want to change, and so Susie keeps stonewalling me, and I'm just going to say goodbye. And it's like, it's not like you're like super rude about it or anything. You just don't put up with that. It's like a no tolerance policy. You're like, I give plenty of chances. But after like so many chances, I'm just done. I'm done giving people chances. And so that's what the judgments are. Yeah, that you're impulsive. That you don't take time to think about cutting people out. You just do it. And they're saying it's because, yeah, you're conceited. You think you're better than everyone else. That's what they're saying. Again, this is not the truth of your energy. I feel like you just have put up with enough of it in your life that like when it comes, you're done. Yeah. And they're saying that you are your own worst enemy when it comes to connecting with people or having a group of friends around you. Like, you don't have tolerance for anybody to be human or to make a mistake. And I feel like that's absolutely the furthest thing from the truth here, because I feel like the reason that you've done this is that you've learned the true intentions of people. You've learned how to listen to your discernment, and you've learned that if I give somebody 3 chances and after 3 chances they continue to do the same thing, I'm not going to put up with it. But it's more than just the same thing. It's like you let things slide that shouldn't. And it's like you're like, you know what? I do that because we're all human. We all make mistakes. Like I do that because I try to give grace to people. But they're saying that you don't let anything slide. Like the first time, they're basically saying that the first time someone messes up is the first time that you let them go. And maybe that's true for some of you, but they're saying that you're someone who creates a lot of chaos for yourself. Like I said, drama tends to find you and you don't want anything to do with the drama. And they're saying that, oh no, it's because pile 2 causes a lot of drama because they're so impulsive and they're always trying to tell people and convince people that they know what's best. They know how to live life better than everybody else, or they know what's going on more than everybody else does. And generally you probably do. It's not to say that nobody else is on that same level. It's just to say, like, when it comes to you in your life, yeah, you do know what's best for you because you've been down that road. The road, eh? The road. Yeah. I can't remember what movie that's from. It's from a movie, and I used to have a friend and we would always say that because it would always come out all funny. I never try to say it that way. It just comes out funny when I say it. But yeah, that's the thing, is like it doesn't come out in a way that they understand it. So if you were to try and explain why you cut people off, or why you stop doing something, maybe you stop following a road that you were following before, you stop doing some sort of journey that you were doing before because you see that, oh my gosh, like this is not resonating with me. Like I see that this is not going to serve me in the long run, so I'm going to stop doing this. Maybe it's overwhelming. Maybe you're still doing the same thing, but you're doing it in a different way. You're taking a different approach to it. And you don't tell people about it because why should you? It shouldn't matter. But it's like whoever this is or this group of people, it's like they feel left out because you're not sharing your methods with them. You're not sharing what it is that you're doing. I do feel like these are people who tend to gossip a lot. That drama, I feel like you really don't find that drama. That drama tends to find you because I feel like these are people who like to gossip about you. And they like to gossip about you because they like to throw like a wrench in your journey, right? What's that song, Monkey Wrench? I actually don't remember how it goes right now. I think it's called Monkey Wrench. You might want to check that out because I heard it really loud. Like, don't want to be a monkey wrench. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's this, but this person or these people, that's what they want. They want to be the person that throws an obstacle in your journey. Because I feel like what the truth is that you're the opposite. You're very nurturing, you're very truthful and honest, and you always take care of yourself first, and you're slowly going towards your dreams, and you're actually very collaborative and cooperative when it comes to having people who are putting in the effort. They don't even have to put in as much as you do. It's somebody who's putting in the effort and not breadcrumbing you or not giving you so little, like less than you deserve, right? And I feel like that's exactly how you are, but this person only hears about or sees or receives all that other stuff where it's like you're cutting them out. You're seeing, oh my gosh, this person doesn't have the best intentions. This situation is going to create a lot of burnout for me if I keep going down this road. Like, I'm going to just change my plan here. I'm not going to change my goal, but I'm going to change my plan. And it's like you just are constantly moving fluidly through your journey. I feel like that's exactly why dealing with these people and these situations has caused that's the purpose of why these judgments are coming up in your life right now, because it's to remind you exactly how fluid you are on your journey. You could be a Taurus, an Aquarius, a Libra, or a Capricorn as well, or those signs, those zodiac signs might mean something to you. But it does feel like here you're just really trying to go with the flow. We do have Pisces as well, and Arian energy as well. These are people that you could have networked with, or you're moving on and up to networking, and this could be an ex that's saying it as well. But the thing is here, it's like you had to end something, or you've had to end multiple things here that really just were not serving your journey. right? Especially if you're a CEO and a boss, you could be someone that has to fire people. And if you have to fire people based on performance, like, it's nothing personal, right? It's just business. Like, that's what it feels like. And you're in that energy, hey, look, this is nothing personal. This is just life, or this is just business. And they just cannot wrap their head around it. They're like, oh my gosh, like, pile number 2 is really causing a lot of drama. They're causing a lot of this. They're causing a lot of that. Like, I keep seeing someone getting slapped. I don't know what that is, but it's just like someone getting slapped in the face. I feel like you may hit them with a deep truth that they don't want to face. And so instead of facing the truth, they begin to cause a lot of chaos behind scenes, hoping that it's going to knock you off of your position. I keep hearing high horse. They're saying high horse, right? Like, they're saying, oh, if I can knock them off their high horse and they come back down to reality, they're going to know what it is to be in my position. And whoever these people are, it could be 3 or more people, because we do have 3 people here. And then we also have the 3 of coins here. So it does feel like there's 3 people who are really trying to do this. And it could very well be at work. We have a lot of coin energy, a lot of work energy coming through here, right? Especially with the Aries energy, talking about being a CEO, a boss, someone who's higher up in management. Like, you might have, again, a no tolerance policy. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, there's this no tolerance policy, which can be work, right? And it's like, they think that they should be given leeway to do whatever it is that they want, or to act however it is. And so instead of you giving them leeway, like, you're reinforcing the rules. That could also be you reinforcing boundaries that you've set for yourself. And because of that, they don't like that, right? It's gone against what they feel like they deserve. And they feel like they're entitled to some sense of freedom here to act however they want, to be however they want, to show up however they want. And because that's not being allowed or allotted, it's like you're now the bad guy because of that. And so it's like you're doing what you need to do. This is coming into your life now to remind you of how strong you are in setting those boundaries, whether that's at work or in personal life. Also to rise above this situation so that you can find a deeper truth about yourself, and understanding that I don't have to be in a place of pleasing everybody, especially if you're a business owner, or if you're in a CEO position, or even upper management where you do have the ability to let people go. Like, that's really what this feels like. You have the say in your position to make or break someone's life. And I know that sounds terrible, like, oh my gosh, like, you're like in this godly position. That's not what this is. It's just like you're in a position where you actually can create, you can make a good day or a bad day for someone, you know, and it's not like you're doing it intentionally. Like, that's just what comes with the job title, right? And so it's like people don't want to see that you're actually put into a very difficult position having that. That's a lot of responsibility. And a lot of people think that that's so easy to wield. But when you're really trying to uphold a place of honor and truth, and you have good integrity and morals when it comes with that, and making sure that you're following policy, or following even like your own boundaries and ideas set forth, it's like that's not an easy responsibility to shoulder, but you're doing it. And so they're just in this place, and you see here, it's like you're coming forth with this Aryan energy. It is giving me the Emperor energy, and they're seeing you as the Empress in reverse, or they're even showing up as the Empress in reverse and the Knights in reverse. They just don't stand a chance. They're not on the same level as you. Like, I feel like these are people who are definitely lower on the totem pole than where you're at. Okay, like it's nothing personal. Again, it's just that's the position. It's like there's a hierarchy here wherever you're at, and they're just not on the same level. I mean, I don't like to say that in the spiritual journey, because everybody's just at a different place on their journey. So no one's actually better off than the other, because we're all here. I have the hiccups. Wow. Hiccups of confirmation here. That's what they want me to say. Okay, so we're all here to learn our lessons, and so no one is actually better off than another person. It's just different, right? This literally feels like a situation where you have more responsibility than another person, though. Like, that's a title. It's a title that you've been given. It doesn't have anything to do with the spiritual journey in itself. This literally has to do, I mean, especially when we're talking about fire energy here, right? We have fire energy, and fire energy is all about your actions, how you're showing up. We have the earth energy here, the material energy coming through here, and the mind energy, right? And the Empress is tied to Venus energy, which is all about love and attraction and finances, Taurus energy and Libra energy, which is relationships and stability, right? So you have this energy coming through here. It's like you are someone who has this responsibility given to you, right? And a lot of people don't want to see it as a responsibility. They just see it as a power move. And that's like the last thing that you see it as. Like, you just really have to take it serious and take accountability for what it is that you can do in situations. And it's like, if I gave you leeway, then I would have to give every other person leeway, and that would be crippling to the business. Do you see? That's what this feels like. Definitely feels like a position of power. Like, it's a job title. We have Gemini, curiosity, intellect, and networking. Yeah, this networking is giving me energy. Like, you run, 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. Like, it makes me feel like with these two cards here, like, you have a lot of people who are under your job position. It's like, not that you're better than them, not that anything else. Like, you just hold a lot higher responsibility than they do. Like, politically, managerial, whatever it is. It's like you're just in a different, you're in a different place than they're in. Thank you, Source. Yeah, like, you have the responsibility of cleaning out the garbage and the rut. 22:22 on the clock. Yeah, and it's hard for you because, like, a lot of people don't want to trust that you're doing the best thing that's possible for the situation. They think it's personal, and again, it's that energy is coming through. It's nothing personal. It's just business, right? Physical touch, a tender touch can mean so much. Yeah, and I feel like you're not somebody who does it like you're dizzy on a brick, like being all power crazed or anything like that. I feel like you're really doing it to the best of your ability, trying to be as gentle as you can. Very authentic here, right? Peaceful, being very peaceful. Like, I'm not trying to show up creating a whole lot of drama in your life. I'm really just trying to tell you this is the way things are. And unfortunately, in the situation that we're in, we have to follow that. So you're very authentic to who you are. You're very authentic to the situation. Like, you're meant to have this position. This is something that you're meant to do within your lifetime. But it also comes with it a lot of people who don't trust that you're doing things from the best place possible. Sometimes you're bound by however the situation is set up, especially if you work for another company. Like, if you don't own your own business, you're bound by those policies that have been set in place by another person. And sometimes people don't honor that. Like, they really think that you have some vendetta against them when you don't. Yeah, you're somebody who's very playful, though. I feel like most of the time you're somebody who's very well received by everybody. But there's like, it feels like a group of people here that just have a problem. Like, they just have an issue with you. Like, it's like, oh, here comes pile 2 again, acting like they're all high and mighty. And you're over there like, that's the last thing that I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make sure that we get through the day. Okay, so the shadow aspect wanted to come out right away. We have conquest, just another notch in the headboard, or the real deal. Actions speak the loudest. And conquest gives me that idea. It's like, oh, you're just a warrior on a conquest. I'm trying to conquer the world. Like, this is the shadow aspect that's coming through in your reading. It's like, maybe you feel like that at times. Maybe that's an old belief system that you're trying to get rid of here, is realizing that you're not here making life hard for people. It's like, sometimes you're just put into a difficult situation and you have to show up the best way that you can. And sometimes the best way that you can is going to hurt others unintentionally, right? It's just part of the perks, or, I mean, if you call it perks, whatever you call it. What do we have here? Air. We have open-minded objectivity and learning. Yeah, this is something you're having to be open-minded about. Very objective. Like, that's that energy that I kept getting. Like, you just have to, it's nothing personal, right? You have to be very objective about it. It's like nothing personal. Even if these are close friends, like, these could be close friends, people you know personally outside of the job, and they expect to get special treatment because you're in a higher position. Sometimes that happens, pile 2. And so they're judging you and they're saying all these things about you because they expect, they feel like you are obligated to treat them differently. water. We have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. And this is how you show up. So we do have Gemini, Aries, and Libra, and Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy coming through here. But I feel like you do try to show up in the best way that you can. Like, you're always trying to be kind and compassionate to them, but there's only so much that you can do in your position before you have to make sure it's like, well, I still have to be preserving of myself and my integrity. Love is all around you. There's love everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledge this as truth. Again, this is confirmation to me of how you're showing up. Like, I feel like you're very kind. You're not like ruthless. You're not like, oh, you were being a BA, a bee's snatch, and you got to get your together and get out of here. Like, you're not being like that. You're like, look, we really need to talk. Like, this is something that keeps coming up, and it's not going to serve you well on down the line. And I'm giving you a warning now. And this is the best that I can do. But just know that if it comes up again, like, we're going to have a much more difficult conversation than what we're having right now. Right? Yeah. You're very focused on your journey. You're very focused on what it is that you're doing. And this is like hyper focus on the fact that you also, maybe you got a position and you know all these people because you worked on the same level as them. And so now that you're in a different position, they're like still expecting to be treated a certain way. And you can't. And so you have to focus on where you are now. And then we have 66 here, trust in the magic. And 6 is all about resolution, finding a solution, finding balance and harmony, seeing yourself through the eyes of the divine with unconditional love here. And so I feel like that's what you're working on right now, is seeing that. We also have 12, which is all about perspective, seeing this through a higher perspective and realizing that it's not really your burden to carry how another person sees you. Right? Even though it does feel like maybe you are treading some kind of water here and trying to not come across as one way, but trying to be another way. And in the process of that, yeah, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Okay. In the process of that, like, you've been taken advantage of because of your position or where you're at. And so that's why I feel like you become super direct in how you've approached people. Like, live and learn, exactly, experience, training, and development. So I'm saying, like, you're seen as someone who can be abrasive at times, but it's because you've had to live and learn. You've had to go through this. We have bully flew out, embarrassment, gossip, unwillingness. This idea, like, people pitted against you just because like you're in a different position, or because they feel like they're entitled to something, right? They're entitled for you to give them a promotion, a delight, souvenir, also confirming that there was some kind of promotion here that you went through, some kind of transformation that you had on the journey. We have conflict, difference, disputation, and quarrel. I don't know if that should be dispute. I really feel like that should be dispute, but anyways, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, there's like a huge conflict here, and you see that. You've been in the middle of it. And it's like you're still in a position, though, that holds a lot of responsibility. So regardless, it's almost like I feel like, pile 2, that you're the one that has this final say. And that's what really rubs these people wrong. And so they're trying to say all these things about it. Yeah, excess, obligation, overwhelm with overload here. Like, you're the one that's obligated to make the final decision. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming at times, and they don't see it that way. They just see it as, oh, well, why don't they just give me a free pass? And so that's what they're talking about. It's like, oh, well, I used to know pile 2 like that, but they won't give me a free pass. Well, screw them, And they have gain here, cultivation, profit, and conclusion. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like you have nothing to gain from this. They have everything to gain from listening to the wisdom that you're giving them, but they don't want to. And so it's like, ultimately, you're going to be the one that has to decide, is it time to, pick the pear here? Is it time to pick the fruit, or do I let it stay? It's like giving me that low-hanging fruit type energy here. It's like taking the low-hanging fruit. It's like if they become the low-hanging fruit, eventually they're going to have to go. They're going to get rotted, and they're not going to develop the way that they need to. And I have to let it go. I'm just going to have to let it go. And memory, yeah, remembrance, commemoration, and reunion. Yeah, so it does feel like you have memories with these people, and it feels like they're just treating you like crap because you're in this position. And they don't want to see it from your vantage point. Like they're just like, oh no, you need to see me, you need to see our relationship above everything else. And it's like, this does feel like a work situation where it's like you don't have that luxury anymore, right? It's like I can only see it from one place and that's it. And if they don't want to see it that way, then it's kind of like that energy. It's like when you start a business and your whole family gives you crap for starting a business and they're like, oh yeah, well, it's never going to go anywhere or whatever. And then finally when you take off, they're like, oh, let me have everything for free. And you're like, hold up, that's not how this works. Like, I can't be giving you all stuff for free because you guys are going to take advantage. And they're like, oh, no, we're family. That's the family discount. You should honor that. You should give it to us for free. And you're like, I can't do that. Because they don't want to see the amount of work that you've put in. They don't want to see the amount of resources that you've had to use in order to become successful. They don't see it that way. They just see it, oh, this is something I can use for my benefit and my benefit alone. And that's the type of energy that these people are giving off. So let's go ahead and check out your bird card. I'm going to read this from the book as well, but let's see what we've got. We've got the Hudson, which is flourish through maintaining tradition. Interesting. And that's that energy that I feel like they're giving off. It's like you owe them the tradition, the memories that you've had. And it's like, I feel like they also know where you're coming from, because I do feel like at one point they're like, oh yeah, if I had this position, everybody would hate me because I would say how it really is. I would say it like it was. And, it's like you're in this place and now they don't want to honor the fact that you're the one that's dealing with it. And they don't want to see you in the place that you're at. And so they're causing a lot of drama and a lot of hurt and a lot of pain here. Let's see. Oh, awesome. I didn't realize this had an index here, but let's see. H. Hudson is number 49. Okay. So we have here, for 36 million years and more, mysterious Hudson has flown above Earth, unique in birddom. She dwells among lush mango trees, dining on their leaves, digesting them as cows do, and builds her nest high above the swampy bays. As Hudson inquisitive chicks grow, they venture onto the mangrove's welcoming branches, but when startled, they tumble into the water below. Certain death? Not for Hudson's fledglings. Not only can they swim, but like Earth's first bird, ancient wing, they also possess claws in their wings, fingers, claws that enable them to cling securely to branches and clamber back up to their nest. If vulnerable, Hudson has arrived in your cards. She counsels that cutting edge may indeed cut, that ancient traditions and means of working can not only create ways of life and objects that endure, but also endow great happiness and satisfaction. Consider the valuable lessons of times past and flourish. And I feel like that's just telling you, it's like not about the tradition of who you were with these people. It's about the tradition that has to be followed in the position that you're in. Time and time again, we've seen things fall apart because people expect or feel entitled to our services or our energy or our ability to have reign over some sort of aspect in life, and not realizing that that in turn puts you into a very questionable place, which is not fair for you, nor is it fair to them, because they need to follow some sort of rules. They need to follow some sort of structure. They need to maintain some sort of tradition that's been built to get you to where you are in this position. Okay, so this is what I see for you, pile number 2. If you feel like this is your reading, leave a bird down below. It doesn't matter which one. Pick your favorite. Leave a bird down below and say, I grow above this conflict. So that way then Source knows that you're learning these valuable lessons and you're letting yourself flourish in this hard, difficult situation. Knowing that the next phase is all about you learning from positive things in your life. Leave me a thumbs up down below. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second, though, to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this incredible message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful red jasper, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on what judgments are being said about you and why, or what is their purpose. What are they here to teach you? What's going on behind the scenes? Keeping in mind these are general readings, so please take what resonates, leave what does not, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing down below, it does allow me an opportunity to directly connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box below where you will find all the links necessary to do so. You can email me for a personal reading and I will get you out further information from there. And you can also follow me on over to my podcast, which is a fun, chill hangout session with yours truly, and I do hope to see you there. Memberships are underway. I'm just waiting for the last few things to be uploaded and finished. Just a couple designs that I'm waiting on right now. And then those will be going live for you also. I did want to mention that with this reading, we are connecting with people's view of you, their rose-colored glasses that they see, their perspective. Keeping in mind that that is in no way, shape, or form the truth of who you are. So with that being said, we will go ahead and get into it. I'm going to use the dice today to find out more about your energy so that you know whether or not this is your reading. If the dice don't resonate with you today, definitely check out one of the other piles. Okay, so Source, can you tell us about pile number 3? What can you tell us about pile number 3 so that they know that this is their pile? What can you tell us about pile number 3 so that they know if this is their pile, Source? Alright, so we've got Pluto, Gemini, and the 12th house. Okay, so you're someone who's definitely very spiritual, very transformative, and someone who talks about it a lot. Someone who communicates what they want from life. You're very adaptive as well. So when you're around a group of people, you're someone who's very fluid with your energy. You move in and out of energy, right? So if someone's different than you, it's okay. Like you somehow mirror that energy back to them through just being you. You are someone who is very open to what a lot of people don't want to talk about, right? So that could be religion, but this is more or less giving me those like ancient mythology. This could be ancient practices. This could be just a different way of thinking. This could be power of positivity, affirmations, gratitude. This could be prayer, I said meditation, but anyways, so meditation is obviously something that's important for some. This could be maybe you do yogic principles, or you could be talking about just in general, like something that's very spiritual by nature, and you talk about it everywhere you go. Like you're someone that's very open about it. You're very clear about it. You could be a Pisces, a Gemini, or a Scorpio, or those signs could be very highly aspect in your chart. You could have a Scorpio moon, a Scorpio Pluto. You could have a Pisces moon or Pisces 12th house. You could have Gemini in either one of those placements as well. This is showing here that you've done a lot of healing. You've overcome a lot of toxic habits. You've overcome a lot of bad juju in your life, right? So it does feel like maybe you fought a lot of escapist type energy. Like that could be addictions. Maybe you drank a lot. Maybe you smoked a lot. Maybe you sex, drugs, rock and roll type energy here. This could be you maybe were escaping by having relationship after relationship. Not even the sex aspect of it. It could have just been like having that type of energy around you, always needing someone in your energy for fear of being alone. It's absolutely something that goes with 12th house and Pisces energy as well. You've had to overcome grief and loss and fears and imprisonment, feelings of solitude, learning how to enjoy yourself by yourself, right? You may be opening up to your old past lives that you've experienced, or people see you as an old soul, right? And you've definitely faced a lot of karmic situations in your life, but you're super intelligent. You have a very cunning energy about you, a very cunning mind about you. You're able to embody and embrace the duality in life. Sometimes you're very mischievous, you're very curious, you do like giving people a bad time, right? You may have a lot of friends, or a lot of social networking is always happening. Like you're always connecting with people, or just have a lot of people who are following you. You do have a place of power, right? You are someone that's seen as very desirable. I do feel like people have obsessed over you in the past, or they do continue to obsess over you. It does feel like, though, you're in the process of truly upheaving a lot of deep emotional baggage. Like, this feels like you're dealing with wounds you didn't even know existed, right? And that's what's coming out now. Like, things are popping up and you're like, whoa, I haven't thought about that in like 30 plus years, or however old you are. And you could be like, I didn't even know that was a trauma, and you're like healing it. But it's like you've gotten to a point where it's not like suffering from the knowledge that that exists in your energy. It's more or less like, oh, okay, cool, let's get rid of that, let's face that so I can move on. And you're like more or less happy about having the healing because you know that it's just taking you to a new level, right? And so that's something that is definitely prevalent in your energy right now. So let's go ahead and get some tarot out on it and see. And remember, we are dealing with someone else's viewpoint of you, what it is that they're saying about you. Okay, so source, what judgments are being said about pile number 3 and why? Like, what is the purpose of these judgments in pile 3's life? What is being said judgmentally about pile 3? What judgments are being said about pile 3 and why? What judgments are being said about pile number 3 and why? Keep hearing like you've fallen from grace, like you're going to fail at whatever it is that you're doing. You haven't told people what it is that you're doing, nor if there's been any success about it. And so they're all just whispering. It's like, that's what it feels like, whispers. People talking about you. Obviously, judgments are being said behind your back, but it's like people talking about you and whispering how you're going to fail. Like you're not ever going to succeed at what it is that you're doing because it's just a pipe dream. It's always been a pipe dream. I feel like they don't see that you're actually making headway. This could be family members. This could be past lover as well. But I'm getting a family energy here. Yeah. The King of Swords just popped out. Yeah, so that's definitely a truthful feeling here. Yeah. It's like someone who wants you to believe that they're in your... like they're there for you. That's what it is. They want you to believe that they're standing up for you. They want you to believe that they're helping you. They want you to believe that they're, you know, supportive of you. And I feel like they're really not. Like behind closed doors, they could be whispering or telling other family members that you're going to fail or that you are failing, but you just don't want to tell anybody because you don't want to give up what you're doing. What an interesting energy. Who are you dealing with? Hey, pile 3. All right, so let's see. We've got the King of Wands coming out. That you're overly confident. Like that it's a false demeanor. That you're not actually as confident as you say you are. Like it's just it's a facade. Like you're putting on a facade. You're not as strong as you say you are either. Because if you were, like, then you'd share things with them. But I feel like you had to stop sharing things with your family a long time ago. This could be a feminine energy in your energy. It could also be masculine. We do have the King energy that came out twice here. It could be a Gemini or a Sagittarius. I do feel like with both of those coming out, you could have also come from another one of the piles on here as well. There's continuing messages here for you. But I do feel like that's just showing like you're absolutely opposing energies to this person. So no matter what, or these people, right? Like you're the complete opposite of them. Like you just do not see life the way that they do. And equally so, like they don't see life the way that you do. And because of that, like there's no middle ground. Like you're basically like, would you just grow up and let me do what I need to do? And they're like, would you just grow up and get with the picture and go back to doing normal things? Like the only way that we know how it works. And it's like, if you succeed, whoever they are, like I feel like their biggest fear is that you will succeed, because it's like they're going to have to open their mouth and insert their foot. Like they're going to really be upset if you succeed. They're not going to celebrate you. They're not going to cheer you on. They're not going to be excited about it, because it's going to put all the people that they've talked to, this could just be family. They could just be saying this to family, but whoever they've said it to is going to see that they're actually not who they say they are. Right? Like that's what it feels like here. Oy, this is an ugly energy. This could be a Sagittarius. You could be a Sagittarius. You could have Sagittarius and Jupiter. That's a pretty lucky placement. It's in its home placement. That's really beneficial. Like, you know, what do they call it? Benevolent? Yeah, a very benevolent placement. We have Sagittarius energy here. We have Sagittarius and Pisces energy here. You have Pisces with the 12th house. Yeah, so a lot of mutable energy as well, like fluidity. Like this is just your time. This is you trying to find balance in your journey. Yeah, look at this. All this good. Yeah, we have Pisces energy here too with the Hangman. We have Leo energy here. But I do feel like what's going on here is that this person or these people have definitely played a lot of games in your life before, and they've made you lose your footing. And no matter what, like how they've shown up, like you've always somehow regained your footing and you've gone back to being lucky, right? And it's not just lucky, like it's like you actually are able to manifest things right in front of their eyes, and they're like, whoa, hold up. Right? And so you're always in this place of like learning how to become a better version of yourself and changing your perspective, right? And they don't get it because I guess there was this one time where you used to be reliant on them, super reliant on them for everything with this King of Coins in the reverse, which is Virgo energy. We have all 4 mutable signs out here. And you also wanted their approval. There's a point where you really wanted their approval and now you don't. Like now you don't need them to be successful. You don't need their okay to see yourself or to see your worth. You're very comfortable with being different. And you know, like every time I see the Hangman, it always makes me think of Odin from Norse mythology. And Odin hung upside down on the branch for like, it was like 12 days. And the well, I can't remember the well's name right now. It's just not coming to me. But anyways, the spirit in the well told him, he's like, you know, you have to sacrifice something in order to gain the wisdom. And he ended up sacrificing his eye so that he could gain the wisdom of what the runes meant from the well. And so the well then gave him the wisdom of the runes, and that was just part of the journey that he went. He didn't eat, he didn't drink, he didn't sleep for those 12 days. He just hung upside down on this branch. And so it's interesting that they want, you know, and I don't always bring this story up. This story doesn't come up very, very often, actually. And so it's interesting because it's like with the 12th house here, I feel like you're someone who studies stuff like this, right? Like you, maybe it's mythology, maybe it's religion, maybe it's just deep spiritual practices, but it's this idea that you sacrificed a way of being for the wisdom that you've gained, right? I mean, he gave up one of his eyes. He was like totally cool with that. Like, is my eye a good enough sacrifice? Oh, cool. Here you go. You know, and that's what it is. And it's like this person or these people, there's, for some, it feels like one really strong presence in your life. And for others, it does feel like a group of individuals in your life. But they're not willing to sacrifice like that. Like, they just don't have it in them to do that. They just don't see how you could ever be successful at what it is that you're doing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Now they're saying that you're neglecting the relationship between them, or like that you always did neglect them. This could be a sibling for some of you. Oof. Yeah, especially with the Gemini energy out here. This could be a sibling for some of you. They're saying that you tricked them. They're saying like that's what their judgments are. Like, oh, pile 3 tricked me into believing that they were going to be successful, into believing that they were going to be able to manifest what they wanted. And I feel like this person gets other people involved with this 3 of Cups. Like, it feels like they get third parties involved, like people outside of your connection or people outside of the family. Like, they try to get people involved. And so you may have been approached by people outside who have tried to get you to see reason. Ooh, this is I do not like this energy at all. I'm so sorry, pile 3, that you have to go through this. Like, this is just not... This is not good. I mean, overall, source is showing here that you're having a lot of luck come into your life. Like, things are changing. The wheel is turning in your favor here, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of fortune. I do feel like there is money coming. I feel like there's finances coming. I do feel like there's going to be a way where you're going to be able to set a very firm boundary with this person or with these people. And also, it feels like again, like the number 3, so this could be 3 people. Yeah, you could have definitely been one of the people that watched all 3 piles too. If you are, as always, leave a purple heart down below and say, I made it. Those are for those of you that watch all 3 piles. I truly appreciate you so much. But yeah, this feels like there could be 3 people here that are doing this. And it does feel like close to home. You know, here we have, with the 3 of Cups, we have Cancer in the 2nd decan, right? Which is the middle part of Cancerian season, which is the middle 10 days, okay? And I don't have the dates right now. I'm still learning all that. I don't have all the dates memorized or anything like that. But it's like we're talking about the 2nd decan, which is very, and I don't remember what it's in. It could be in the moon, but it could also be in the Venus. I'm not 100% sure on that. Still learning all that. Anyways, what the thing is here, though, is like for that, it's like this is very deeply rooted, is what that energy is giving me. For me to actually mention that it's right in the middle of Cancerian season of Cancerian season, that this is a very deeply rooted family home situation, right? This is like something that, and it's close to home. Every time it comes up, like it really, really hurts, but it's like you've had to become so much stronger than their judgments. And I feel like you felt their judgments since the time you were a young child, like even before you even understood what judgments were. I feel like you lived in this state of constant self-preservation, self-protection, because you knew what they were doing. Like it's like spiritually you understood what was going on, but physically you had no idea what it meant until you got older. And I feel like the thing is that you've been lucky from a young age, and they can't figure out why, because it's like, oh, well, they don't live life the way that we do. And it's because they're always looking for approval from others, and that's the way that you used to be, and now you're not looking for that approval anymore, and they're just completely confused. Like, why don't they need my approval anymore? Why don't they want my approval anymore? Why don't they ask for my help? Why don't they ask for my advice? And it's like, you've kind of come into this position in this life where you're like, I don't need your advice, and I definitely don't need your unwanted opinions on what it is that I'm doing. Because it feels like they were always unwanted. Like, it just feels like, oh, well, I know what's best for you. And you're like, do you really? Because I've tried to live your way for a point in my life, and it never worked out for me. And is that what you really want? Like, you just want me to never have luck? You just want me to never live a good life? And it's basically, this person's not going to say it. They're not going to say that they want to see you fail, because that would really make them look like the bad guy. But the problem is that this person doesn't understand that they're setting up a scenario. And I keep saying this person, these people. Okay, so like they don't understand that they're setting up a scenario that the minute you step into your success, that they're going to be seen for the person that they truly are. Someone who is telling lies and gossip about you. Someone who is just basically spitting whatever came to their mind. And it feels like resentful. This feels super resentful towards you. It feels like they're very angry at you. But I don't think they're angry at you for the things that you think they're angry at you for. I feel like the reason they're angry at you is because you found a way to be successful before they did. Like, this is, like, especially if this is people, like, if they're, like, your peers, like, this could be, like I said, a sibling. Like, they can't believe that you became the first successful child in the family. If this is, like, parents or guardians or grandparents or aunties and uncles, like, they're just basically saying, like, I cannot believe that you're going to live a better life than I did. Like, they never wanted you to live a better life. They wanted you to live the same crappy life that they were living, the same limited belief life that they were living, because that's all they know. And they're seeing you manifest so much, and they're like, well, how is it that pile 3 is doing that? But they're never going to say that. This person is too emotionally, egoically in their energy, and they would just want to be exalted for having a high name position in your life, or having this title in your life. They just want to be exalted for their title in your life. And they're not going to ask because they truly believe they know more about life than you do. But I do feel like this person stopped growing at a very young age. Like, I don't feel like this person ever made it emotionally. They never matured. Mentally, they never truly matured. Physically, they matured. They kept getting older, sure. But I don't feel like emotionally, mentally, and definitely not spiritually, they never matured. But they believe that they have. And they're stuck in their ways. Like, this is somebody or a group of people who are very stuck in their ways. Like, very, very rooted in the way that they show up for things. And I do feel like the thing is like the only thing that this person worries about is being seen as a terrible person for saying the things that they've said. They don't have any remorse for saying what they've said. Like, I want you to understand that, pile 3. And this is what's so ugly about this. Like, they don't have any remorse for what they've said. 2022 on the clock. They don't care. They don't care that they hurt your feelings. They don't care that they made you look like a bad guy. The only thing that they care about is that you're going to prove them wrong in front of everybody's face. That's the only thing that they care about, is their own image. Like, oh my gosh, there goes pile 3 being successful and making me look like the bad guy. Hello? You were the bad guy to begin with. What is your problem? That's what this feels like. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, holy moly, calm down. If this person really feels like, or these people really feel like they had it all figured out. Yeah, maybe they didn't hit riches. Maybe they didn't get famous like they wanted to, but they sure had life figured out. And then you came in and you're like, oh, let me show you what life really is. You can manifest the life of your dreams, right? Like, transformation, karma, facing fears and legacies. Yeah, so the whole reason that you had to deal with this is to let the skeletons out of the closet. This was so you could leave legacies for the generations that follow you, or leaving a legacy just by living in infamy, right? Like, is that the right word? Like, you're always going to be a part of history now. People are always going to remember your name, right? And they're not going to remember these people's names. And if they ever do remember their names, they're going to be remembered exactly as they were. People who tried to put you down and stop you. And that's something that you're going to have to choose. Is that what I want to be vulnerable about? Like, that's what Source is saying here. Like, do you want to share your story? Do you want to be open and vulnerable about it? Because this is actually a very powerful place for you. Sharing that. Sharing your hardships. Like, they may see it as weakness. Or they may see it as, oh, there goes pile 3 gossiping about us again. Gossiping about who we are. But, like, that's not it at all. Like, I feel like you don't gossip about them. Like, you tell the truth. And that if that hurts them, that hurts them. This is interesting. We have number 13 here, which also connects with the death card. Or the nameless card in the Tarot Marseille. This connects with that number, and what's also number 4, which is all about strength, structure, stability. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the 44 number card, get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love, miracles and blessings. Everything has its gifts. You know, I feel like this person's going to watch you be surrounded by people who actually want to know you. And that's kind of like part of their karma. It's like the reason why you've had to be in this place of judgment was to understand your power. Like, you're lucky. They keep bringing up Jupiter energy here, and it's like you have been in a place of having luck in your life, right? Like, Jupiter energy, we have Sagittarius energy and Pisces energy. The original astrology, Pisces used to be ruled by Jupiter as well. And so there's this energy here where it's like you are very, very lucky, and you had to learn your power, that you were a mega manifester is what I'm hearing. Mega manifester is what I heard. And you're about to receive all these blessings. And everything has its gifts. Like, you had to learn that you didn't need to be dependent on this person's acceptance to be who you are. Right? Especially if at one point you wanted them to see you and to understand you. And even just to be happy for you trying something new that made you happy. I feel like this person has never once said, I'm proud of you. Or if it ever came out, it was because it was forced. You know what I mean? Like, it was never just because they really, truly felt that way. It was like, oh, I better say this so I don't appear a certain way. Yeah, this is all about cycles. Look, we have 31, 31, 31. Or 31, 13, right? Mirroring numbers. Yeah, this is a mirrored situation. It's like almost as high vibrational as you are, as they're equally low vibrational to get you to understand the truth about yourself. Ending these old cycles, these old patterns of putting up with less than you deserve, right? And I feel like you are absolutely learning that. Or it's something that you already have learned. It's something that you're definitely going through. I don't think that this person actually truly sees you growing. Like, I really feel like this person has painted a picture of you, and they're holding so tightly onto that picture that that's how they show up every day. They treat you like that. They treat you, you know, like you're the bad guy, or they treat you like you're just some I don't know, like you just don't belong, or like you just never belonged in the first place. And in a way they're right, but you know, you don't have to be so cruel about it. And that's what it feels like. This person's almost intentionally cruel about the way they treat you, because they want you to go back to wanting their approval. And so it's like, if I can beat down pile 3, get them off their high horse, get them off of believing in themselves, then I could go back to being the exalted person. Look, we have Flamingo, embrace the in-between, with number 26, which is 8. 8 is all about the karmic cycles, right? And then we have Chameleon Spirit, act as if. And this is that place that you're in right now. It's like you're acting as though you already have it, even though it's a place of in-between. Like, it's not yet yours, is what it feels like. But it is coming. And you feel it coming, and you're seeing changes in it coming. Like, it's like you're seeing the manifestation begin to come. Like, you know, like if it's finances, if it's a new position or whatever it is, it's like you're seeing things fall into place that are making sense for the next step on your journey. And I do feel like Source is really trying to make this a big surprise for you. This was definitely something that you had to deal with in order to heal the dark side of yourself, the toxic side of yourself, right? And none of us are free from toxic individual, like none of us are free from toxic habits and patterns. We all have that within us. Whether we're a perpetrator or if we're an enabler, we all exist in some realm of toxicity, right? So it does feel like that's what it's coming from. It says also on the bottom here, dark side. The dark side keeps you from enjoying the love you have. Don't let it steal your joy. This is also the energy that they're in. They're constantly residing in the darkness. This is, I mean, you could call this the battle between the light and dark. You could, but I feel like it's more than that. I feel like this was a destined situation for you so that you could literally carry burdens that were never meant for you to carry in the first place. Like if they were healed, right? Like if they chose to heal themselves, but because they didn't, it's like basically your ancestors and everybody on down the line said, okay, look, pile 3, we really need you to go in and heal this. Because it's, if you don't heal it, like that's it. Like we'll never come back in a higher vibration. We'll never be able to heal ourselves. Like you're going to be the reason our souls incarnate in other lifetimes so that we can heal again. Are you ready to do that? And as a soul, you're like, yeah, bring it on. And as a human, you're like, holy moly, what did I sign up for? What is this? What is this? Why? What is this? And you're like, I know I agreed to this, but this is really bulldarky. Like, this is just not good. No. Yeah, you're getting angelic support here. A trine. We have angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. And this also is confirmation that some of you have come from another pile, because I did talk about a trine in one of those piles. But yeah, you're definitely getting assistance here. Like, that's what it's saying. Miracles and blessings. It's like Source is basically like, hey, you did it. You made it. You made it through the other side. Like, good job, pile 3. I'm so proud of you. I never left you alone, and still you carried on, right? Tell everybody I'm on my way. Like, that's the energy here. Okay, Brother Bear. Like, that's it. You made it through. You really made it through. And Source is saying, good job. You've done an amazing job, pile 3. And so you're going to be rewarded here. Look, Saturn. Feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard work and patience. That's it. This is that energy I was feeling. It's like basically everybody on down the line is like, please, please, please take this terrible, hard burden on, because you're the only one that can carry it. And as a soul, you're like, yeah, bring it. Bring it. I'm cool with it. Like, let's go. And then, like I said, as a human, it's like, you're like, oh, this is no, why can't it be easier? And it's like, but you have the grit and the strength and the determination to get through it. And because of that, you're going to be rewarded. Like, look at this, the light and the dark. Wasn't I saying that? Like, you could call this a battle between the light and the dark, right? The dark side over here. And this is the light attribute. Wow, my throat is going crazy right now. Yeah, so it does feel like this is you cleansing out the darkness that's plagued your ancestry line, the lineage, right? The lineage you come from for a millennia is what it feels like, you know? Yeah, to learn self-love and compassion. You may be the only one out of your family that's a very compassionate person. Like, everybody else is kind of like self-centered and conceited, and and like, oh, it's all about me, 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 and you're like, holy moly, like let's get real with it, like come back, you know. And so you've been taught to learn self-love. You've been learning self-compassion, self-acceptance, and through that, it's like you've been undoing what's been bound up for many, many ages. That's such a trip. I still can't get over this. Like the trine and Saturn, it feels like the light and dark aspects. I want to move this just to here because I feel like it's something that's worth seeing. It's just this energy, right? Then we have the owl here, which talks about ancient wisdom, knowledge, clarity, messages from the other side, right? Messages from passed on loved ones. This could be, I heard message from grandma. That was very specific. That's not going to resonate with everyone, but it did come through. I just heard message from grandma. And so it's like this energy, it's like maybe your grandma is the one that's helping lead you to the light. Or, again, that's a very specific message. Or you're healing wounds that your grandmother left you with. And she's seeing that now. She's seeing that. You know, and it's interesting that they're bringing up grandma. Here's a quick thing. I know we're already where we're at, but here's a quick thing. It's like our grandmother, no matter if you're a man or a woman or whatever you identify with, it doesn't matter. Your grandmother carried you because she carried your mom in her eggs. So if you're biologically your grandmother's child, your grandma is such a powerful connection to you because your grandma carried her in her eggs. She carried your mom, and it's only if it's down your mother's line, right? This is how it works. But it's like she carried your mom, and your mom, even before she was born, already was carrying you in her eggs. And so it's like your grandma carried you both. And it's something I learned along the way, and I wish I could remember the source that I found it from. But I was reading something on biology once, and it came through, and I was like, whoa, that's so intense. Like, that's so incredible. And so it's interesting that they're making me think about that right now, because it's like, and then the power of threes, and I talked about trying in another pile. And so please don't feel like you're obligated to go and see another reading. If you feel like it, please go ahead and you know, go there. I appreciate those of you that take the extra time. But it's just interesting that we're talking about, because there's like the power of three is what I'm hearing here. We have the 3 of cups here as well. So it's like the power of 3 is something it's like maybe it started with your grandma. Your grandma came, she agreed to heal, but she couldn't. She got stuck in the vibration of the earth vibration of being in this lower vibrational physical realm. So then it moved on to your mom, and your mom had the opportunity to heal, but she still didn't either, because she was still too stuck in the 3D realm. And so then the last opportunity was that it came on to you, and you're the one that chose the healing. And it's like you could see that now. Oh, that's a very, very intense message. So we do have companionship, dog, with number 41. So I do feel like this member of your family is going to watch you build a soul family. People who actually care about you, like people who actually love you and are excited that you're in their life, or excited that you're a part of their journey. And that's something that's really going to trigger this person, but they're not going to be able to touch you because of that. Yeah, and then we have use your mind wisely with 47 here. That's number 11. Very spiritual number here. It's like, this is where you've come. You've learned when to speak and when not to speak. Right? You've used your mind wisely. You're like, oh, there's some things I can tell this person, but there are some things that I absolutely cannot. There's some things I can tell these people, that there are some things that we don't even get in the realm of that discussion. We have leaving. You've taken it as far as it can go this time around. Walking away is the best thing you can do. Yeah, that makes so much. That's the shadow aspect here. Healing the dark side of the moon, right? The dark side of the moon. No, it's like just being in the dark night of the soul. Right? Being in the dark night of the soul here. You've been in it for a long time. I feel like that's maybe how you've walked your whole life, is in the dark. The shadow side. You've just walked in the shadow side. You're comfortable in the shadow side. That's taught you a lot about yourself. And leaving is what's going to bring you into the light. Okay, let's see. Let's get some of these for you real quick. What other messages would you like to say for this reading, source? Okay, thank you. Strategy. Yeah, that does not surprise me. I don't know why I have the hiccup. Oh, because they're telling me I've got that song. It's been something that's been coming up recently, but it's something that's coming up right now. Like it's that, even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light, or it's something like that. I don't know. I can't do it right now. I've had a sore throat all week. Who knows? Anyways, but it's like that song. Even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light. Like, it's like you've been walking in the shadow for so long. It's like, can I please see the light now? And it's like, it's blinding. It's like, whoa, but you still can't help but be drawn towards it, right? Sorry, that was a terrible rendition of that song, but you know what? Hey, it's cool, whatever. I don't care. That's how it came out. So that's how it came out. I feel like that's the thing. It's been a difficult journey for you. And it's like, it's never been perfect. Nothing about your journey has ever fallen into place the way that it was supposed to. And that's why it's like, it's been an imperfect way to take action. And it's like, you still have done it. And it didn't matter what came from it. You still did it. And that's why it came out the way it did right now. Powerful stuff. Come on. Planning, prediction, mind reading. Yeah. This is that use your mind wisely. You could have the power of telepathy. You could also have the power of mind reading. So you also know what people are thinking, even though they haven't said it. That's a very unique talent. You know, some people say it's not unique, but I've never actually met many people who've had it. And I met a lot of people. And I haven't met a lot of people who have that. And yeah, it's a very unique thing. So have you ever had somebody tell you, like, are you reading my mind? Yeah, you probably have that gift. Then we have good news. Yeah, encouragement, miracle, and surprise. Like, Source is going to surprise you with something beautiful here. Something absolutely beautiful. And on the bottom, we have illness, disease, weakness, fragility. Like, I just was talking about having a sore throat. I don't know what was going on. I feel like that's the thing. It's like, you may have dealt with a lot of sickness, especially as a kid. You know, she's got her little kitty here and she's in bed. Temperature, you know, like maybe you've dealt with a lot of sickness in your life. We have number 35, which is 8. That's all about karmic cycles, right? And so it's like you've had to deal with a lot of illness in your life, and it makes you feel like you're frail. And it's like, I feel like this is exactly how your family members see you, as someone who's weak, who's frail, who's diseased. Like, you're always gonna be at the bottom of the barrel is what I heard. Like, whoa. Oh, okay, let's get to your bird card, your bird message, right? And if you're wondering, I forgot to show this on pile 2, but that's all right. So it is this, bird messages, discover wisdom from your bird guides with Susie Green. Absolutely beautiful deck. I love this. I'm so glad I got it. So you got Emperor Penguin, small steps lead to profound metamorphosis. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, you've been taking small steps this whole journey. And through that, you've experienced a lot of change, right? Hard work, strategy, patience. Let me see what page this is on. Yeah, it's just like, I can't get that part right now. I don't know why. It's because I have a sore throat, and so it's like coming out all weird. Yeah, well, it's okay. You guys know me. I'm going to sing, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to play, I'm going to do what I do, because however it gets channeled is just how it gets channeled. I ain't going to change it. 38. Oh, it's right here at front. All right. Thank you, Source. All right. So we've got, and 38 is number 11 as well. So this is a very spiritual message for you. It says, Penguin once flew through blue Antarctic skies and skimmed over southern oceans, diving beneath their waters to feast on fish. As hundreds of thousands of years went by, Penguin swam more and more and flew less. Finally, her wings became flippers, and she exchanged the light, hollow bones of flight for those that were dense and solid, and her feathers, now anointed with oil, became short and stiff with a downy undercoat. As your guide, Penguin counsels that change, no matter how radical, is always possible. I love this. We cannot become new people overnight, but if we accept that change takes time and believe in our hearts that the cumulative effect of hundreds of tiny changes is in the end monumental, we can eventually do anything. Penguin exchanged the wonder of aerial flight for an incomparable mastery of the seas. Like Penguin, you too can metamorphose. You just need to take that first small step. And so that's the thing. I feel like you're changing, like, family your family lineage. Like, this is exactly the energy that I was getting from the get-go. It's like you're completely changing what it is that you've done in the family, and it's like everybody has altered over the years, and that's why I feel like it's so important is the last 3 generations for you, pile 3, and your pile 3, of course, is where all that change was supposed to come down to, but you were the one who truly took the journey, right? That's exactly what it feels like. Okay, is there a penguin emoji? If there is, leave a penguin emoji down below in the comment section and say, I transform my journey, to let source know that you're calling in this higher vibrational energy. Leave me a thumbs up down below. I am going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second, though, to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this incredible message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.